Good morning, everyone. My name is Carrie, and welcome to another Tuesday's Tea Time. I just woke up, and I'm like, you know what? I want some tea. And when I want some tea, I want to talk about pens. And when I want to talk about pens and tea, I need to come to you guys. So I thought, you know what? I may look like I just got out of bed because it's true, but I don't care. Let's make some tea and let's answer some questions. So it's Canadian Thanksgiving today, so happy Thanksgiving to any of my fellow Canadians. Americans, I will catch you in a month. But in keeping with Thanksgiving and in keeping with eating too much food, because holy moly, I feel slightly disgusting after the amount of food I put into my body yesterday. Just gluttonous, basically, you know. But anyways, in keeping with that theme, I've decided that this morning for my tea of choice is going to be lemon pound cake oolong. Reason being is because I don't have to put milk in this one, and it's too early to do that. I haven't even had breakfast. It's too early for a full-blown black tea. And you know, it's lemon pound cake, so it's delicious. Basically, it says, with buttery oolong, tangy citrus, and a hint of creaminess, this delicate tea tastes just like a slice of lemon pound cake. Dessert for breakfast has never been this guilt-free. Yeah, so I picked this one, like I said, because it keeps in theme with, you know, gluttonous food. You put about a tablespoon into 85-degree water. This one, you do actually have to make sure that the water isn't totally boiled because it can burn the leaves and it muddles the flavor a little bit. And this is a medium caffeine level, so it's definitely got a bit of a jolt to it compared to what, you know, I usually drink, but I feel like I need that. I don't know if you can tell even from my voice. I've been going so hard at work lately that today I finally have a day off, and then I work 7 days in a row after this. But it's okay. I love it. I really do enjoy what I'm doing. I really, really am happy that I'm there. It's just quite exhausting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tea, and I do have an actual review of this. I cannot for the life of me remember what pen I associated it with, but if any of you have watched lots of my videos or are sleuths, comment below what video I did about. Alright, much better than standing in the kitchen. Oh, it's so hot. Cheers, guys. Oh, yep. What is new about me from last week? Not much. I mean, I already alluded to the fact that I'm working like crazy, but I'm really, really happy about it. I did get a new pen, and I talked about how I, wanted to tease it. I'm so proud of myself because I managed to not actually post it on my Instagram, Pens and Tea, before my Tuesday Tea Time video went live, which unfortunately did go a little bit late. It didn't come up until about 4 p.m. On Tuesday, when I generally like everything to come out at noon. But for whatever reason, I couldn't get my Wi-Fi working. But it still went up, and that still makes me happy. But the only thing I did was I teased a little picture of the box so that you knew it was at least from Aurora, but I didn't show you what it was. But since then, I haven't stopped being able to post about it. You know what? I should actually go grab it. Hang on. Why do I not have this pen? So here it is. This is the Aurora Optima, specifically the burgundy orloid finish, which I can't show you with this camera, but trust me, in my review, the amazing depth of material. It's actually really shiny, but but I got a giant window over here. It's kind of tampering that effect. You can see just like a little hint of it here. And this is also the first and only pen that I have ever had tuned by a like Nibmeister. And that was because I ordered it off of Dan Smith's website, the Nibsmith. It is beautiful. So I ordered a fine nib, and I asked him if he could make it as wet as possible, basically. Not quite Visconti wet, but pretty wet. And to take out a good chunk of the toothiness, because I know Aurora can be quite toothy, and I don't have a problem with that. I appreciate that. My fine Platinum Century 3776 has a good deal of it. It's very smooth, but gives you a lot of feedback, if that makes any sense. So I feel like, I definitely appreciate that. That is my favorite pen, although this is giving it its run for its money. But I did ask for that. About an hour later, he emailed me back after I placed my order, apologized. There was an error in like his inventory, and he didn't actually have a fine in this specific finish, but he had a medium. So he gave me 3 options, basically. Either he could sell me the medium and grind it down to a fine for me, for no extra charge, obviously. He does all of like free nib tuning when you order from his website. Or I could get my money back, or if I was willing to wait another week and a half for him to get in the fine, then he would ship it out as soon as he got it. So I came back and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity. Let's go with a medium fine grind. So it's somewhere in the happy medium, pun intended on that one, between a fine and a medium nib. But still with the modification for less tooth and more ink flow. And I'm really, really satisfied. I'm not going to get too heavily into like the writing samples or anything, because that's going to be in the review. But I'm really satisfied, and I'm super stoked about this pen. Like I said, the Platinum 3776 is like my favorite fountain pen. But I don't know. There's a pretty close tie. There's just something about this pen that grabs me. I love the ink window, which I'm pretty much out of ink because I've been using it nonstop. Flip it around so you can see I have a titch bit more ink in there. In here I have Diamine Ancient Copper. I just figured that was a perfect fall ink, Thanksgiving-ish type ink, which I know a large majority of my audience is American, so you're all probably like, oh man, why do you celebrate Thanksgiving in October? That's so weird. I don't know, we just do. we like to do things differently here in Canada. So let's get to the questions, because it's Tuesday tea time, Q&A. How can there be a Q&A without no Q's? So let's jump into it. So the very first question is from George Little. Again, I'm reading off of my iPad, so sorry I'm looking down. He said, Carrie, I tried Tazo Chai. It's delicious, right? I've been thinking about ordering from David's Tea. I like herbal, black, and iced tea. Do you have any recommendations? Thanks, you do great videos. Well, thank you. I appreciate you watching them. And yes, I do have recommendations. I have a stupid amount of recommendations, especially since you said black, because black is my favorite tea. So it's very rare that I come across a black tea that I don't like. Obviously, I'll have some that I prefer over others, but it's very rare that like there's none whatsoever. But the beauty of some of these teas is that you can ice them as well. So the very first one is a palm cider. And the next one is blueberry jam, which I do actually have coming very shortly in my review videos. Those are both, if you're going to jump on it relatively soon, because they're both limited edition David Tea to fall. So I don't know how long they're going to be out for. I would imagine they'll be out probably until like December, maybe end of November, early December, until their holiday line comes out. But I would recommend it because They're both black teas, and they're both delicious hot or iced. So if you want a little bit more of a tart kick, then go for the hot brew. But if you want all that tartness really kind of kicked in the pants and get out of here, then you can ice them, and a lot of that goes away. A lot more of the sweet profiles come out. So definitely check those out. They're obviously more fruity type flavor ones. The pumpkin chai I really enjoy. Again, it's a fall one. Cardamom French toast is delicious. It tastes pretty similar to French toast. The only thing I will say about that is if you don't like sweet teas, maybe stay away from that one because that mix actually has sugar included in the mix. So you don't really have the option of not adding sugar. It's just put in there for you automatically. So if you don't like sweet ones, maybe stay away. But if you do like sweet, get in there because it's delicious. You mentioned that you really liked Tazo's chai. They also have a chai and mighty. That's a black tea. That one is really, really good. It's not as strong as another one they have called Saigon chai, but it's stronger than Tazo's chai. So I don't know what your comfort level is with chai teas, but chai and mighty is good. If I don't go with Tazo's chai, that's usually the one that I go with. The cream of Earl Grey has a funny history with me because when I first started drinking it, I hated it. Hated it. But then they had a promotion where if you ordered X amount of dollars worth of tea, you got 50 grams worth of cream of Earl Grey for free. I was going to order that amount of tea anyways because I was just out. And I get the shakes when I'm too low on tea. So even though I knew I was going to hate that tea, I just thought, well, whatever, it's free, it's coming. I'll give it to my dad or something. And I just started drinking it. And I don't even really know what got me to start. I guess I just didn't want to give up on it. It's like the little engine that could. And I actually really like it now. It's not an everyday go-to. It's like a here and there. Yeah, I could drink that. I'd still prefer Earl Grey, specifically Twinings Earl Grey, over that. This one adds in a vanilla aspect to it, and it's a fairly in-your-face vanilla. So definitely may want to caution yourself on that. If you have a David's Tea store near you, then I would recommend maybe taking a sample of that before you go too heavy into it. Otherwise, you can just get their regular Earl Grey. But again, there's a million types of that. The La La Lemon is really delicious. That is a black tea that is pretty much the only black tea that I drink black. So no milk, no sugar, no nothing, just as is. Because it has a subtle black flavor, but it has a very pronounced lemon topping, and that's basically all you get. It's just a subtle black tea flavor and then lemon. I really like to drink that one when I'm feeling a little under the weather, but I still want that caffeine kick. And Nepal Black, I flippin' love Nepal Black. That's a very, I don't want to say, it's mild in the sense of the flavors don't punch you in the face. Something like this, the lemon pound cake is a very strong flavored tea, where it kind of I don't want to use the word assaults you when you drink it, but it's just it hits you in the face with its flavor. Whereas Nepal Black is a little bit more subtle. It's kind of again, a black, like La La Lemon, it's a black tea, where you get that black tea flavor, but this just has a little bit of honey added on top of it. So I really, really like it. Read My Lips is also delicious. That's a pepperminty chocolate type black tea. That's really, really good. So those are some black teas and iced teas. As far as herbal tea, I will be the first to admit I don't really drink herbal tea. I don't like most of the teas that are there. There is one that's on 50% off right now called Luscious Watermelon. That one is really good. It is an iced tea. I would not pay attention to the watermelon word though. It does taste more like apple than watermelon. I've also done a review of that. So I don't really taste watermelon at all when I drink it. It's still good. I still enjoy it. But just pretend it says Luscious Apple. Blueberry muffin is also really good. Just peachy is amazing. If you like peach juice, buy this. If you don't like peach juice, don't buy it because that's exactly what it tastes like. So that's as far as I can go with herbal teas because, like I said, I just haven't had them. But I feel like I've just named off 1,000,001 teas. That for me would take me like a week to try them all, but I'm sure for the normal person, not so long. And I've been rambling about that for like quite a while, so I'm gonna leave you with that. Last week I asked, if you guys, what was the last pen that you bought, and if you were able to hold it in for the joy of yourself, or whether you were able to share it out with the world. And a lot of you actually wrote, what the last pen was, and dang, you guys get some good pens. So Jan Scott got a Mont Blanc Mozart, which is like, amazing. I don't own a Mont Blanc pen. I've used 2 of them, but they aren't mine. So jealous. Peter got Waldman Cosmo, which I will totally admit I'm not too familiar with that. However, I am going to do some Google later. And the Lamy Dialogue 3, both in fine. And yes, he likes to share. I haven't used the Dialogue 3. I have seen it, and it looks pretty cool. So what do you think about it? Mystery Glow, I'm going to assume. Bought the Lamy 2000 and the Platinum Century 3776, which is amazing because I own both those pens and they're great. I mean, I've already said the Platinum 3776 is my favorite fountain pen. I don't know why, it just connects with me. There's no rhyme or reason. It's not a perfect pen. I don't really think there is such a thing as a perfect pen. I mean, maybe if the pros outweigh the cons enough, but this just happens to be mine. It's my favorite. The Lamy 2000 is amazing. I have it in the medium nib, and I actually won a giveaway from Take Note Store in Toronto to get another Lamy 2000 in a fine nib, which I'm going to be picking up when I go down to Scriptus on October 30th. So I will be doing a quick review just between the different nib widths, the fine and the medium, because I've heard a lot of things when people are talking about the sweet spot of Lamy, specifically the 2000. I think the Lamy, my medium, has a fairly large sweet spot, to be honest. I don't notice any of that, but I've heard that it's more pronounced in the fine and extra fine. So now, since I'm going to be getting a fine, I really want to ink them both up and do a comparison, and then, of course, let you guys know what I think. So that's exciting. Adoran got a Conid bulk filler, which is super cool, and a Pilot Kakuno, which I haven't used yet. I do plan on grabbing one because they're relatively inexpensive, and sometimes it's super nice to have inexpensive pens, especially if you want to travel or do anything like that. And speaking of inexpensive pens, Kim Possible, the last pen she got was the Nemesine Singularity with a extra fine nib. I also haven't tried that yet, but again, it is one I plan on trying. Max Shoemaker said, I bought a vanishing point to celebrate graduating from high school. Congrats, man! What are you doing now? You working? You in college, university, trade? What you doing, man? That's cool. I unfortunately didn't use fountain pens in high school. I didn't start using them. Oh boy. I was even graduated university by the time I started using them. So that's super, super cool. And I'm super jealous that you like fountain pens now, that you're into them. You got into them this early. Because man, my notes for school would have been so much better if I was into fountain pens. Because most of the time I would get really lazy and wouldn't take that many notes. I was also really lucky with school. School came kind of naturally to me. I never really had to be one to really get, down hard and heavy and study and focus that much. I could usually get away a fair amount with doing less work. I was the kind of person, and a lot of you are probably going to hate me, so I'm sorry, but I was the kind of person that could pull off a 30-page essay, a night, 2 nights before. I don't recommend that, by the way, because it's stress, trust me. But I usually was one of those people that could get away with it and still come out with a pretty good grade. So, yeah. But maybe I would have been even better if I had fountain pens, because I would have wanted to write notes and stuff like that and, put effort into school. But just saying, study, stay in school, don't do drugs, all that. In last week's video, somebody basically mentioned FWIW, and I was like, I have no idea what that means. I feel like this officially means that I'm starting to get old, and I don't know what the cool kids say. But apparently it stands for what it's worth. So FWIW, thanks for letting me know. It's going to be a weird Tuesday video, just saying. So John Lee said, hey, Carrie, thanks for answering my question. Hope later on when you have some time, you can flesh out that 102. Basically he asked me to do like a 102 style video on tea. Quick question. Why can't you use your pens at work? Is it because your company requires all notes and communications to be digital? Or maybe your job doesn't require you to write? Or maybe they don't allow use of fountain pens or other. I'm currently looking for a job and dreading that they won't allow the use of fountain pens. So when I said I don't use fountain pens at work, it's because I don't ever have the opportunity to write anything. Nothing requires me to write anything. If I do need to write something, it's like a very quick, like 1 or 2 word, and it's usually on top of a label, which is like extraordinarily glossy. So if you use anything other than like a Sharpie or a ballpoint, it's just going to smear, because the like fountain pen ink is primarily water-based. So it's never ever going to penetrate the paper, that's what she said, into, the fibers to get absorbed into that actual paper. It just won't ever do it. So it'll just smear no matter how long you leave it. Even with gel roller balls, it's no bueno, it's not going to work. So basically I have to use the dreaded, ballpoint. Or a Sharpie. But even then, it's like I could work for 7 days in a row and maybe pick up a pen, like a ballpoint, maybe like 2 or 3 times. If anything, it's a giant Sharpie. Like we have a Sharpie that's like this big and it's like this fat. Basically just open it and just do giant X's over top of other labels. So it's not that they don't allow for me to use them. It's just that there's no need for them. I kind of miss using them at work, but at the same time, like a 9-hour shift goes by like so fast because you're consistently on the move. So there's not really much time. And then I like being able to come home and have it be my comfort. I like being able to come home, have a cup of tea, write with a great pen, whether that's journals or preparing for like videos or whatever. I like that to be my me time. So I kind of enjoy now that there's a separation between work and personal. As far as like dreading that they won't allow the use of fountain pens, the majority of places that you're going to work, you're going to be able to like actually write. I think I'm one of the few exceptions that it's so extraordinarily rare. So I didn't really get that many questions last week, which is totally cool because I still have somehow managed to drone on for like 25 minutes about random things. Plus that one tea question was like quite a bit of a bulk. But guys, as always, if you have any questions, like even just random ones, it doesn't even have to be related to the video. Just ask it down below and I'll try and save it for the next Tuesday's tea time. Question of the day for today is, do you ever name your fountain pens? Some guys name their cars or like they'll name whatever. Do you name your fountain pens? I don't ever name my fountain pens. However, this beauty, I have named this one. I don't know why. Again, it just popped into my head. It seemed to fit. And I'm going to tease you. You won't find out the name until I review this pen. So I have put a name. It's a she, just saying. But yeah, do you name your fountain pens? Do you find that weird? Maybe you don't name fountain pens, but you name something else like your cars? Let me know. And and as always, any questions, comments, concerns, leave them below. I answer them all, either through this or through comments. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, and if you haven't yet done so already, which based on my analytics, like 70 to 80% of you haven't yet done so, please hit the subscribe button. New videos, pen reviews, and fountain pen related stuff come out every Monday and Friday, and every Tuesday as often as possible. Tuesday's tea time will go up, usually around noon Eastern Standard Time. So guys, enjoy your day. Again, Canadians, happy Thanksgiving. Americans, I'll catch you in a month and I'll wish the same thing. So go drink some tea, go play with some pens, and I'll see you guys next time.